The fact remains that come with your own argument to the table. And that is not happening in Nigeria. When you say certain things that do not gel with those people in positions of authority, they say you are an opposition.
Can political education correct this?
Political education will first and foremost, just like your own education. Look at you sitting down here. Some of your mates are pushing a truck in Ido. If you go there and blow grammar for them, they'll give you a very serious punch because they have nothing else to offer. I don't know, you can't give what you don't have. So education tries to liberate the mind, broaden your perspective, to accommodate people, that you should have a different viewpoint. In fact, you should learn more from the person who says he does not like you. You should go closer to understand those things.
Can INEC also offer this kind of political education to politicians and even electorates?
Who is the INEC? Who is the INEC? What is the content of INEC? How did many of those people who are in INEC, how did they come on board? I don't know whether you see, we also have. This is not to say that there are not some good people in INEC. Good in the sense not of so much of character, but in terms of content, because there is this theory in epistemology. Those who know always try to behave along the line of that knowledge. A medical doctor is not likely to behave like a carpenter when he is in a clinical setting. The more enlightened in medicine he is, the more professional he tends to become, even though nothing is perfect, but we're always working towards perfection. Somebody who studied English or law will not start talking pedestrian language, except the setting demands it. And that's why when you come to politics and you want to exhibit knowledge, they say in a grammar will go chop. Because the people who have hijacked it are the wrong people. You need to come to campaign in those days. You came there to learn English. You came there to learn etiquette. You got entertained and the message was passed because the man who had knowledge was intending to deliver even within the constraints of his political environment. On so things he promised.
Just quickly, it was to seem that from all that you've said, you completely agree with INEC that, you know, a certain timetable must be followed. But a host of people have also said that it's against their constitutional right, that the Constitution allows for freedom of expression, and as such, INEC cannot tell them when to start campaigning or when to not campaign.
I have not said that INEC is completely right. I said politics is especially in our climate, it's a daily occurrence. If you have people who are jobless and they do not politic, there will be violence. You understand? Just like when you have a pugilist, you have a mighty eagle, a wrestler, or a boxer. You don't subscribe him to an association of boxers or whatever. He start kicking people in the street. The essence of that is that's the way the society has tried to contain some of those extremities by harmonizing the man who is so given to killing. You get him to become a surgeon. So you open people up in accordance with certain rules instead of doing it in a Boko Haram manner. You understand? The society uses that to preserve itself. How would INEC operate? When you now go to the extremes like those posters and all that, that this is not the game. Utterances that also bother, because the law is very clear. Many of the utterances are ethnic, some of them are religious, some of them are damn right obnoxious. But some people are calling for attention to themselves. Come and negotiate when the time comes, because we can spoil show for you. And then there are some people also who are so frenetic because they so much want that position, they even go for them. And when A sees that B succeeded in that, everybody, you know, Nigeria, when pure water started, one person bought Okada with it. Then everybody started making pure water. It turned out that some of them were not actually making the money from the pure water. The pure water was just a facade. Like some people have learned later that some supermarkets are not, it's not what you sell in the supermarket that give you that money. Apologies to the man in Kanu. So that is the issue. So the INEC must itself, first and foremost, educate itself thoroughly on political culture that it wants to bequeath to the country. It's not once you are appointed you begin to talk. The issue about when politics should be played and when not to be played, you should look at the kind of politics. You understand? The law is about campaign. The word used in the electoral act is campaign. So what is campaign? When does it start? How does it? How will it go? You understand? The one that is defined by law, try to implement it. If there is any shortcoming, take a bill to the National Assembly to amend it. But politics, there must be politics. Because it is a daily game of who gets what, when, and how. The concentric theory of conspiracies will come as a fallout. When you are not even getting anything, then you conspire with some people to corner those who are getting it, either to put stop for them, eliminate them, or blackmail them. Then if you think that you are going to use consensus, you go for consensus and negotiate with some people, and they give you the ones that are falling from the table, you take it and be alive for next day.
In all of this, it's also important to see the thinking of politicians here. Because when INEC gave that warning, our cameras went to town and spoke to some of them, and we should listen to what they had to say about it.
There are rules governing every election. INEC is the midwife of political parties and elections in Nigeria. Until you visit that midwife, you are still pregnant. Unfortunately, most of the culprits are from the opposition. The whistle has not been blown. They are campaigning. And as a law-abiding party, we refuse to join them.
If you ask me about this particular, warning, I think it's completely besides the point. You see, if INEC knows who is it of the politics, should direct their attention to that particular political party.
In CPC, we believe that with a huge infrastructure of security, state security, we should be able to pin down those that are responsible for such violation, because that's a clear violation of the, extant laws of Nigeria.
People should obey the rules and regulations of democratic processes. If the INEC, if the ban on campaign has not been lifted, I don't see the reason why you should go as far as campaigning or flagging off your campaign. So everything has procedures. If Jega has made such a statement, that means some people have decided to disobey the rules and regulations of the processes.
What do you think?
Well, you see, nobody has been caught for violating this rule, isn't it? Just like the fight for corruption, against corruption, so many people who are actually neck deep in it are those who come to television to condemn it. And until you are caught, you are not that person. However, there is a strategy INEC can adopt. Because there is a saying that masquerade with one leg starts his journey too early in the day. But quite often, when he gets to the village square, where the performance is supposed to take place, there will be no spectators. Because he came too early, having been suffering from one leg. You understand what I mean? Because the people who are supposed to be part of the spectators for performance and so on are still cooking in their homes and so on.
Will he mind waiting? Isn't that why?
Well, if it had to wait, it will get fagged out and become too familiar to the faces around. You understand? So when the other masquerades come, people want to know what they have. You understand? So it would have burnt its own candle too early. And not like Iwanyangu said, that most of these things come from certain opposition parties. You see, many opposition parties have one leg. When I said masquerade with one leg, they don't have the resources available to PDP. You get the point?
Well, most of these parties are all opposition at some stage.
In the Nigerian understanding, if you are not in power, at the center, you are the opposition.
Oh, it's about
What do you think that Mr. Wayan was referring to? Because last time we checked, he was in the Labour Party,
Yes.
which is not the party in the center.
Yes, he said that his own party, which happens to be in the opposition, is not given to what the other parties in the opposition, like himself, are doing.
Oh.
I'm taking him from what he has said. You understand what I mean? So the point we
So
are
his own
making.
party is also in the opposition.
Yes, it's in the opposition, but they may also have different modus operandi. You understand? I don't know whether he has joined the APC or so. I don't know. But the point remains that if some people see that they can get a mileage, you know, the one that is at a disadvantage is always the one that wants to take a pinch. You know, that's usually what happens. But quite often, it is better to play within the rules to keep the sanity within the polity.
All right, we'll have to let it go there. Dr. Chiman Naji, legal practitioner and professional in politics, thank you for coming on this morning.